I'm Chris Martello, and I love the Ashtabula Harbor. It just hit me one day. My daughter had moved into a photography studio at the harbor, and I started coming there more often. And I was reading a book about the history. One day in the summer of 2018, I went kayaking with my grandson, and it just hit me. Everything just seemed to come to life. And I had this compelling force. I decided to start studying about the history more. And I started making note cards and studying them. And then I just came up with a name, and I thought, Erie, we're on Lake Erie, Erie Harbor. So I decided to make it a ghost walk and incorporate some stories with the history. And so I came up with this logo and the name of the company. And then I decided to add some flair. So I came up with a costume, one for summer and one for fall, because I thought I need to layer up it gets pretty cold out there on the side of the river. So I got my family involved, and this is my grandson, and he would bring lanterns and pass them out to people, and he would check off their names, and he was a big help. And it taught him about how to start a business, and he would watch me tell the story. And wouldn't you know, pretty soon, people came. I listed it on Eventbrite, and they actually booked, and they came. It was so thrilling. As I told the stories more often, I got more comfortable telling the stories, and I decided I could get more expression and really feel the stories. And I could see in people's eyes how much they enjoyed the stories, and some of the things that I told them seemed unbelievable. One of the interesting shops that we went into, unfortunately it's not there anymore, but the lady that worked in the shop the night we visited there said she had heightened paranormal activity there, and she was able to perceive it. And she went on to tell the people about the spirits that she had seen in that shop. And I started keeping my ears open, and I started realizing I was hearing that more and more. Now, I'm a storyteller. I'm not a psychic or a witch, but it just keeps my ears open and my eyes. At this point in the tour, I tell a story about the Finns and the Irish and the conflict that they had. Now, the Finns came from so far away. They were under Russian influence, so this was so important that they get here. And after a while, the Finns and the Irish started having gang wars right here at the harbor. But people are really surprised when I tell the story. In this next photo, I tell about a real live bank robbery that happened right here in the early 1900s. And it's a lot of fun to tell that story. Well, the weather got cooler. I wondered if people would still come, and they did. And in this site, this is where there was a murder, actually as recently as 1946. And there's a lot of intrigue with that story. This year, as you can see, things look a little different. People are wearing masks, they're standing further apart, but underneath that mask, I know they're still smiling, and they still come. It hasn't slowed down at all. I'm so pleased to be able to continue to tell the story. After a steep climb up Halbert Hill, we go to the Michael Cahill Bed and Breakfast, and people are often surprised to hear some of the tales there. Here we are at the Point Park, which was a very pivotal point for the harbor. It used to be a lot larger until the railroads cut back some of the land. But you can see all the activity at the harbor. In the background, you see the mansion of Andrew DeLynn. He was the agent for the Lizzie Beer Company. And as you can see from his beautiful house, he was one of the wealthier residents of the area. I enjoy seeing people just having fun with each other. They're learning something, they're being part of the community, but you can see them just having a good time together. One of my favorite views from the Point Park is the lift bridge. It really is a beautiful surprise when you look out over the park. This is the future. These little people are the future. When I was young, I barely remembered my grandma telling the story. And these girls will probably be more concerned about who's having a sleepover that night. But I hope they remember some of what they learned on this story and feel part of this community.